Alrighty, folks. Let's pop over here so you can see us. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adobe Live. My name is VooDoo Val, and I am joined by my very good friend, Codi Bear. Codi, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Val. How are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. I'm super pumped to dive into our content for today. For those of you who have maybe never come to see an episode of Drawing the Blank, this is the show where you guys get to be our creative directors. We have got a prompt, 3 prompts prepped for you today that you can vote on and kind of give us your input. And tell us how we are going to be illustrating for the day. If you were over on YouTube, you were in the right place. You're going to see those prompts, those polls come up at the top of the chat. And if you prefer to hang out over on Behance to watch the show, I suggest popping out that YouTube chat to make yourself a little voting module, and you can participate in the show. I'm going to pop over here and let you folks see what we're going to be working on today. We are designing artifacts, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, today's going to be pretty fun. The artifact that we're designing, whatever it is, was found in a cave or ancient ruins. So that's going to be our very first poll, which we will get started here for you. Cave or ancient ruins, deep in the heart of the jungle or the desert. And you guys can tell me if I've written desert or dessert. I didn't check. So one of
Dessert
those.
is dessert is 2 S's because you always want more.
Oh, okay. That's actually, Codi, you're amazing. Okay, I did write desert, so we're good. And it gains power from the sun or the moon. So we're gonna be illustrating some relics, some artifacts and stuff today, which I'm pretty pumped about. I've got some reference up for myself of little trinkety type things, so we can kind of start sketching here. And we're gonna get into it, and I hope at the end you guys will stick around for a bonus poll, because today everybody is going to be the final boss. We usually choose a final boss at the end of our episodes, yeah, and let somebody in the chat kind of add a last minute element to the illustration. But today is the last episode of Drawing a Blank.
It is.
And so everybody is going to be the final boss, and you guys, we'll let you know. You guys can start shouting out ideas, and we'll make an extra poll towards the end of the stream, so we can dive into it. But without further ado, I think we're going to get our first poll going for, rather this is found in a cave, or ancient ruins, but until then, I'm going to start sketching, and I mean, there's a lot of ways that we could go for this, like an ancient artifact, that could be a weapon, that could be an amulet, it could be like a little charm type thing. I was thinking about doing like some kind of like sacred dagger or something.
Nice.
Would be really cool.
That's cool.
You know, what are you thinking, Codi?
I was thinking about either doing some kind of weapon or like jewelry. I think that I am going to, like, I haven't like officially decided yet though. I think I'll like kind of start solidifying my ideas once we get some polls in and kind of just like start getting the wheels turning, you know?
Yeah. I think I'm kind of the same way. I was thinking about like just sketching some rough shapes for some stuff that would be pretty cool to do, and then as we start to get feedback in the chat and stuff, kind of choose. And I think differently, and I was kind of mentioning this to you before, I think differently than how we've done things in the past. I don't think I'm gonna do like a sheet of items today. I think I'm gonna choose one thing to illustrate.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Yeah,
because it just seems like the prompt itself really lends itself to detailing one single item rather than a bunch. And I honestly, I want to take a bite out of painting today, because I'm usually, I'm usually doing like more of a stylized vibe for a lot of the illustrations for the show, because I'm like, okay, how am I gonna paint 5 things in an hour? But for this one, I feel like I really can focus more on like the detailing of one thing. So I'm kind of excited about that. Love the overlays. Oh my god, this is so fun. Yeah, Annika.
Aw.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Annika.
Good to
Good
see
to
you.
see you. Yeah.
Sorry, it took me a minute. Oh, no worries. The emojis, just imagine I added them to the poll message. Okay, those are the emojis. So
Right.
we've got we've got the cave and the ancient ruins. So it is up now. It looks like cave is winning. It's at 67%. But we're gonna leave
Okay.
it up for a little bit and let you folks vote a little more. Let us know if our ancient artifact, our ancient relic is found in a cave or in the ancient ruins. I kind of want to make whatever it ends up being, and I think that we're really going to figure out what this element that I want to add could be as we get more responses to the poll. But I want to make this artifact like vaguely critter themed, like because like ancient stuff, they always have like some kind of symbolic motif or
For
something,
sure. Yeah.
like I'm thinking of like a magical ancient people, like maybe they are crabs or something, or
Yeah.
snails was like really intrinsic to their culture, so how can we add that, like dragons, lizards, something like that. Lizard would be really cool, although I don't know
Yeah.
how you would add a lizard to something. I could do like a wand where the wand point is like a lizard head, you know? Like kind of cradling the wand, or the
Yeah.
blade of a dagger or something. Could be something that's like cool. I love the dagger shape that you have going on.
Oh, thanks. Just kind of like feeling it out. Like
Yeah.
what kind of item do I want to do here?
I was thinking about doing like a Chris. I think they're called
Mm-hmm.
Chris, like the wiggly dagger. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my sketch for said Chris is gonna be weird until it's finished. So like, hear me out. I can draw. This is the part of the drawing where we
I'm
enter
a
the realm of
professional.
yeah. Can I
Trust
draw
me.
stuff? And I swear that I can. It's just not gonna look like it until I finish my concept. Um, but yeah, I was thinking like, maybe I could do some kind of like lizard head on the the blade. It could also be like on the pommel.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm doing a weapon officially. I think that I am, because that seems to be, I've got two blades here that are vaguely reminiscent of of a weapon. I kind of like the that rounded, almost like steak knife vibe that you
Uh-huh.
have going for yours, and I wonder what it would be like if I like did that same kind of curve, but like really warped it into something that was like almost uh physics defying, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just something that like doesn't really make a lot of sense, but like magic,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I would like to know if there's, first of all, do we have gamers in the chat? I gotta know that. But second of all, do you guys have a favorite like game or fantasy weapon?
Ooh,
You know?
that's a really good question.
I need to know what kind of nerds we have in the chat, because the fact that the chat is full of nerds is not up for debate. But I need to know what kind. I'm not sure how I feel about that little sketch that I did, but I'm just trucking through it. We're gonna do a bunch of these. I love the mythical feel to your sketches, Cody Bear. This is from Annika,
Oh,
and
thank
I think
you.
she's right. I think she's right.
I don't draw weapons very often, so this is kind of fun. It's different.
Yeah.
I do have a funny story of growing up playing the game Fable. I don't know if any of you guys played Fable.
Oh yeah.
But my brother and I were super into Fable when we were kids, and there was a point in the game where you get a weapon called the obsidian cleaver. And
Yes.
every single time like you used it or you picked it up or whatever, the narrator would go, the obsidian cleaver. And
Yes.
that is how I learned what obsidian was. I literally got the question right in science class on my test of what color obsidian is because of
Because of Fable. Dude,
Yeah.
that's Fable is how I learned what that jet is also a stone. Because you had to dig
Yes.
up the jet gems. Oh my gosh, dude. I think that when I first started playing Fable, I dreamed about the voice going, "Your health is low." like, like for years after that. That was a good game, man. And
It
then the
was.
Lost Chapters came
Yeah.
out, and oh man. I do remember playing Fable. This from Jack. I love it.
Nice.
I love it. It was a good game. That was back when games were like. I'm just gonna make. I already sound old, but I'm gonna keep talking.
Back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day, games were finished on release day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, yeah, that was a good one. Now that's a knife or dagger rather. Yeah, we got a lot of daggers going on. I think
Yeah.
that's the vibe for today. I think I've got I have reference up, and it's kind of easy for me to do this because I have been collecting reference for years
Hmm.
on Pinterest. In fact, I think I know what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna group these together, and I'm gonna turn those off because I think I know exactly what I'm gonna do now. But I have like a weapons Pinterest board
Yeah.
that I have been kind of curating for myself. Like every time I'm on Pinterest and I'm like, oh, that's a cool thing, I will add it. And so I've kind of opened up my weapons board just to kind of look at how have other artists interpreted like designing some kind of magical weapon, like a
Yeah.
magical dagger artifact. And I think that is so important when it comes to designing something, especially if you don't really know exactly where you're starting, like looking at real life. So like what does an actual blade look like? You got to know that. But also looking at other artists' interpretation of a similar concept.
Hmm.
What has been done. That is going to change the art game for you. And some people, they get a little nervous and they're like, well, how do I use reference? How do I make sure that I am not plagiarizing, not
Hmm.
those sorts of things. And I think that and this is a sentiment that I've heard before, is that worrying that using reference is stealing. It is not stealing. It is not plagiarism. It's really about like that deciding factor is about how you are referencing something.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, right off the bat, easiest way to tell is if you overlay your own illustration over something and it's basically identical.
Right.
Don't do that. But there are ways that you can reference other work and be inspired by other work without having that element in it. And one of them is like using colors from other paintings as a
Yep.
method to kind of study how certain colors work well together in a painting. I've
Hmm.
done that before where I've been like, okay, I really really love how this artist has used the blue and green, and so sometimes I will sample colors from an illustration in order to learn how to harmonize those colors together.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
That's how I learned color theory.
yeah,
I
like how
yeah,
are they creating
100%.
this? Most of the time that I'm like looking at how people are doing like their shadows and stuff, I will sample the colors from there and realize, oh, this is not even blue, this is gray,
Yeah.
this is not even green, this
Yep.
is red. Learning stuff like that is a really it's a really excellent way to kind of boost your art. I think too, painting different things than other artists in their same color palette is also a great way. Like, okay, I love this color of a you know a character that they did, like all the colors and stuff in the background, and I'm going to use those colors to try to create a dagger. You know,
Yeah.
I'm kind of referencing like that. Also, I think sometimes when you're illustrating something and it does come out fairly similar to another artist's concept, sometimes simply saying, I was inspired by this and I wanted to kind of make my own,
Yeah.
is enough to pay respect to something that another artist is doing. Do you have any like rules of thumb, Cody, yourself for like how you gain inspiration and stuff when it comes to like looking at other artists' work for inspiration?
Whew,
Loaded question.
it's so yeah, it's so it's so hard to articulate that because like it's something that happens so slowly over time. You
Yeah.
know, like it's admiring people's work and kind of like figuring out what I like about it, and then like I would take people's work into Photoshop and kind of just like study their lines and like study like, okay, how did they make this shape?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a different, like I'll look at photos like let's say of a rock. I struggled drawing rocks for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I would look at photos of rocks, and then I would look at like a bunch of different artists too, not just one artist. That's something that can help with like that I'm copying their style kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're referencing a bunch of different artists that you really love, and that way you're not just straight up like you said plagiarizing, but you can kind of just like look at their work and figure out, like I would just sit there and analyze their work and be like, okay, what do I like about this? What about these shapes do I like, and
Mm-hmm.
how can I interpret that in my own way?
Yeah.
um and also, I would say, I just like going back to color theory. I just want to say that color relativity is nuts. Like you said,
Yeah.
like color dropping a color that you think is a specific color and then finding out that it's not. I mean, that's like I've seen streamers do that with master studies too,
Mm-hmm.
where they will challenge themselves to recreate the painting of the master painting, but not color drop any of the colors
Yeah.
until afterwards. And then also like another tip to like kind of like help isolate the colors is to like make like just like a little layer with like a tiny little window that like shows only that color,
Yeah.
and just to kind of like it kind of like helps your eye like focus on the different colors in the painting, and it helps you see the true color without the colors surrounding it.
Yeah.
And it's just like it is just like mind-blowing how one color can look a certain way and then you find out that it's a completely different color.
Yeah, I think the main one for me is thinking something is blue and it's actually gray or red relative
Yeah,
to what's around it. It's
it's
nuts.
crazy.
But yeah, that is a really excellent way of practicing, and really improving your art skill. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what everybody's saying. Color theory is wild, Jack says. Yes, indeed. Not much of a gamer, but admire some amazing movie costume design. Oh, that's a
Oh, for sure.
ooh. What
Yeah.
what? Name some off the top of your head, Bruce. I gotta know which ones you appreciate, because I also have a love of costume design for movies and stuff, and I would love to know which ones you're thinking of. Let me check out our. Ooh, we got Cave. Cave
Okay.
is at 62%. We had 15 votes, so I'm thinking Cave is it. So we're gonna say it's found in a cave, which is I'm gonna add some like seriously like organic kind of stuff to
Yes.
this. And I'm going to say now we're going to start our next poll, which is going to be that cave is deep in the heart of the jungle or the desert. And I feel like this is also going to be like, organic stuff, but like, are we going like, honestly, in my head, I'm thinking like, we're either going jungle leaves and like bright colors, or we're going straight Egyptian. Like,
For sure.
that was
Yeah.
my thing is like I want to, am I doing scarabs
Yeah.
or what?
Honestly, I love Egyptian like ancient Egyptian culture is like
Oh
one of my
yeah,
favorites in history.
big time, big time. Another thing that would be cool. I've got like this curvy blade. I'm still figuring out like um how I'm doing the shape of my dagger. I kind of got one
Yeah.
curvy one that I like all right, but I also like this idea, and this is like something that has been done so many times, but who cares? It's like the giant cleaver that has like a chunk out of it, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Like a big chunk or something out of the side of it. I think is like so cool. Um and I don't care if it's overdone, because it's overdone because everybody thinks it looks neat. That's why,
Exactly.
you know, it's the cool
Exactly.
factor. And I think that there is something to be said when it comes to design, for the cool factor. And it's like, you know, what like how far should you go when it comes to developing certain vibes for concepts and stuff like this. And I think like you kind of want things to be functional, but also if there's an element that you want to add to your design and it doesn't really make any sense but it looks awesome, sometimes that's all the reason you need
Yes.
to add it.
Yes. The rule of cool is what they call it.
Yes, the rule of cool is real and very important. Very important. I've got like vines growing. So here's an example of like being kind of referencing something. I'm looking at some reference images of somebody who's done kind of a cleaver like this, and their
Hmm.
cleaver is ocean themed. So they have
Oh,
like
cool.
tentacles kind of wrapping the bottom of the blade, and I'm like, well, if
Yeah.
we're doing like a cave thing, maybe I could make this like vines and maybe mine has flowers on it, you know, like maybe
Yeah,
there's
for
flowers
sure.
growing. And that is, I think, a great rule of thumb. Like nobody's gonna look at our two things and be like, oh, somebody copied somebody here. But I've
Hmm.
still kind of been like, okay, well, how are other artists taking like this cleaver shape and making it magical and fantasy-esque, and how can I kind of translate that into my own concept? Honestly, I like that. That's it. That's the winner right there. That's gonna do it. Yeah. I used to play this game when I was a kid. Speaking of like big ol' honkin' swords and stuff, I used to play a game called Soul Calibur.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Soul Calibur, and there was this
Yeah.
guy, two dudes in that game that were awesome. There was Nightmare and there was Astaroth, and they have like one of them has like this big old axe. I think it was Astaroth that had like this huge axe, and then Nightmare had like this. It was like a blade like this. I'm gonna kind of draw it. It was like kind of like this. It was huge. It was like as big as a person, and it had like
Hmm.
an eyeball on it, and then there was like all this like sinew and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, if the Soul Calibur designers could see me now, they'd be like, "That
So
is
cool.
not it."
That is not what that looked like.
But like Nightmare's sword was like this, and I used to think it was the coolest thing. I was like, "Whose eye is it? Is it a dragon's eye? Because it kind of looked like
Right.
a monster eye." And I was like, "This is so cool." So I have always had like a huge love of like ridiculously large swords that nobody can really carry, but somehow like this dude in armor that already weighs 10 times as much as him is like
Yeah.
lifting it without a care.
Yeah. So jungle is literally at 100% right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All of the votes. Okay, we have 4 votes though, so if you guys want to if you guys want to add some more, if there's anybody who did want desert, definitely cast your votes. If there's people who see jungle is at 100%, but you still want to make sure jungle wins, cast us a vote. Yikes for what? What'd I say? What'd I do? I don't know, Bruce. Sometimes,
Yikes forever, Val.
Okay, it's entirely possible it says something wild though. Bruce is saying Lord of the Rings, your fave Star Wars series has some very cool and amazing costumes. Yes, indeed. If you guys want some great costume reference, looking up the concept art for Star Wars wardrobe.
Oh yeah,
It's
for
amazing.
sure.
The concept art for it is incredible. Incredible. I added the drama and put desert. Uh-oh, watch out, folks.
Oh boy.
Annika's coming to get you.
She's got to shake things up.
Yeah, she's like, I can't leave this like this. I'm gonna have to add a little drama. Oh man, I see some people are making the cleaver blade out of like a crystal. That's so cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if I would do that for mine, but I do think it's really neat. I think it's super cool. Wow, there's some, man, artists are great. Artists are incredible. There's, and I think it's sometimes it's difficult to like get out of your own head because every once in a while, like, even though I'm really inspired, like, I will see somebody come through with like a dope design, and part of my brain will be like, well, that is so good, why would you contribute? Like, that is so good. Somebody has already done the thing that you're seeing something right now that is so inspiring. You're like, oh my gosh, I would never have thought of that. Guys and gals, please make art anyways.
It's so easy to be intimidated and just give up,
Oh yeah. It's easy to Pinterest yourself into burnout
yes.
before you even get started.
Yeah.
Your creative voice is unique. And honestly, I think that anytime you have the urge to create art, to make something cool, maybe this is kind of a drag to think about it this way. Maybe it's negative to think about it this way, but what I think to myself in my head, is like, when I'm worried, like, oh, this person right here, this art that I'm looking at right now is already done better than I would have done it. Why would I bother also adding my art about this subject to the world when this guy's posted his thing? No matter what you do, no matter how great your painting is, when you post it, there's always going to be people in the world who think somebody else's art is better. So I can't achieve being the best artist. I can never achieve that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
if it's never going to be attainable for me, then I should just make my art and do my funny
also the best artist is like so subjective.
Oh my god, yeah,
like
like nobody has been crowned that. Not even, honestly, not even the old masters are crowned that, because there are people right now who are like debating in a art history class right now about who was the best, and there's somebody is trash talking Da Vinci right now.
Yeah, right.
Somebody is like trash talking Michelangelo in a class with their whole chest right now. So if you are worried about your art not being as good as somebody's, so why bother? Just remember that the people who basically shaped the landscape of artistic expression for us centuries ago are still getting like hated on right now. And you should just make your drawing. You should just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
That type of sword with the eye and sinew is the yikes. Yeah, okay. I was like, okay. Thank God. Because my brain was like, did you say a bad word? Val? did you? What did you do?
So Jungle is still at 88%.
Oh man, how many votes do we have?
We have 8 currently.
8 votes. Okay, it's coming. We're gonna. I've tried to leave like 10 minutes for each one. Where are we at? Oh, we're like halfway through the show, so maybe we should.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should tie it up pretty soon. I'm gonna say Jungle wins then, and we'll move to the next one, which is gaining power from the sun or the moon. So I'm also going to take some notes for myself real quick, just to write it down. I'm gonna write cave. You guys get to see my all caps handwriting. Cave, jungle. Actually, my handwriting's on point today. Wow. I just wrote these letters like I know how to draw. Like I know what I'm doing. Yeah, and then we'll figure out if we're gonna add sun or moon to it. Oh man. Truth. Yeah, you know? Yeah. Honestly, it should have been Ancient Ruins, Desert, and Moon. Annika, when I was like trying to figure out what our prompts and stuff were gonna be for this episode, I was thinking Moon Knight in my head. So Ruins, Desert, and Moon would have been great, but technically now we're getting the exact opposite, which is Cave Jungle. Cave Jungle Sun is the opposite to me of Ruins, Desert, Moon, because those
Yeah.
are like the designs for that is like pretty mirrored. Okay, I'm liking this sketch. I am going to leave my like sketchy scratchies.
Sketchy scratchies.
Yeah, that's the professional term. I'm gonna leave my sketchy scratchies as sketchy scratchies. And what I'm gonna do is just make like a basic shape for the bottom here, and I am going to start painting this.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with dare I grab color right off the bat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Daring today, I see.
Yeah. I do not start in color unless I'm doing like a different style. You know,
Yeah.
where I'm like, I'm gonna do like a stylized cartoony kind of thing, and then I'm like, okay, I'll start in color because I'm picking like you know, something that it's got like a limited color palette and it's not like highly detailed. I'm just suggesting detail.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to just freaking go for it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give my blade like it's gonna be metal, but it's gonna be like a greenish hue already right off the bat. In fact,
that'll be cool.
I'm gonna use my polygon lasso tool. You've got, girl, Cody, you gave us the artifact. You gave us things from the place where the artifact was found and a sketchbook from like a sketch from the archaeologist of where she found
That's exactly what I was going for. Thank you. I was like, this is like notes that they would write in The Mummy, you know, just like like 1920s archaeology.
Yeah, in her big glasses and her like peasant top with like a pair of high-waisted khaki pants. And she's got unruly curly hair that she could not be bothered to comb through this morning because the archaeology, the science is more important.
The science for science.
Yeah, she has the most attractive sunburn on the bridge of her nose. I can see her right now, and she's lovely.
Amazing. I love that.
I feel like that's the archetype for every leading lady in a mummy type movie, is that she is attractively not put together at all.
Yeah, right. She just rolled out of bed like this.
She rolled out of bed with the best like bedhead you have ever seen in your life, and she couldn't care less, but thank God genetics was just like, you know what, you're gonna look good all the time, don't worry about it. You've been out in the desert for 14 months looking for the relic that your father died trying to find. Because that's always the story, right?
Yeah.
And the first time the leading gentleman sees you, you look great despite not having a bath for the last like 42 hours.
And then you fall in love and get married.
After you show him that you don't need his help to kick the monster's butt. That's how it goes. And you know what?
Yes.
I'll pay good money for that story every time it comes out. Every time!
Mummy is one of my favorite movies.
Oh my gosh, dude. It's one of the best stories that's ever told all of the time.
Yeah,
it's my
so
favorite.
good.
My favorite.
Speaking of cliches that people are willing to be okay with, you know, sometimes it's like we said, you know, if it's done right, then
that's it.
You know,
that's all you need. It's my favorite story. Wade says, I'd watch. Right? Okay, I'm gonna take, so I got brushes. I got new brushes. And I feel like I
Nice.
want to take a moment to talk about brushes because we have talked in the past about like the brushes don't make the artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, brushes don't make the artist. However, when you know exactly what you're doing or you have a general idea of what you're doing, sometimes a good brush can help with the execution of that idea.
Sure.
And so I want to direct you guys to a resource that I think is really great. It's called digitalbrushes.tumblr.com. I have been
Nice.
coming to get brushes from this place I'm going to post the link so you don't have to dig it up, Jack. I've been coming to get brushes from this place for like 12 years.
Nice.
And I'm going to show you, I think, let me scroll down and make sure there's no nudity, because sometimes there's nudity in the paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think we're good. So you can get brushes here. Let's put this here. And it shows the artist that has, let me do like a smaller version of this window so that you guys can see the whole thing, because I've got my window cropped. So it has the artist featured, like their work. And then to get the brushes, it links to that person's Gumroad or portfolio or wherever that person is selling the brushes. Most of these brush packs are for free. So like this is the artist here that did the paintings for Castlevania on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
Like all of the family portraits and stuff. This is that artist and the brushes they used for those things. So you'll see some stuff in here that you recognize. There's like foliage brushes, all kinds of stuff. You can see how these artists are using the brushes, which is really cool. There's manga brushes for Creative Comics. So many thousands and thousands of brush packs. And I recently got some that are all like, let me make sure I'm on my right layer. They're all like textured, like charcoaly, crazy brushes. And I'm going to show you some of them. They're the G. Rutkowski brushes from 2017. Great artist, and you can find them. If you scroll down far enough, you'll see where, you know, the link that I got them from if you want to try. And I love the gritty texture on this. I feel like I've said a billion times, like, I love brushes that are kind of charcoaly and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And I always am painting like, you know, if I'm painting what I love, I'm painting dark fantasy stuff. I'm painting like gritty monsters and like spooky things, stuff in the dark, you know? And so having a brush set that like I'm basically painting with buttery cement
Yeah.
is perfect for me. So that's where I got those brushes. And if you folks are interested in trying new kinds of brushes that you've never tried before, definitely check out that resource.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love going there. Okay, I'm gonna start kind of detailing this and making this 3D. I'm gonna need to keep track of our time, which we are coming to the end of time pretty soon. We've got maybe 15 minutes, 7
Mm-hmm.
to 17 minutes left, I think. I'm gonna look. I think we still have another poll to do, or we at
Our
least have.
poll is tied right now currently.
Ooh, guys, we're gonna need a tiebreaker for rather our relics are powered by the sun or the moon. We need your help. Help me, Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Help me, Adobe Wands.
Adobe one.
You're our
Exactly.
only help. Okay, I like that. I want. This is like, ooh. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I just, you know, when you make a brush stroke and you're like, that's exactly where I meant to put that.
Satisfied artist sounds.
Yeah, that's what just happened to me. Oh gosh. Oh, that's so good. So good. Yes, I do indeed sing to myself like this when I'm by myself, by the way. We are also going to start painting like cuts and slashes in the blade, because I feel like a cleaver, this is not the weapon of somebody who is very precise in how they're swinging it at things.
Right.
This is the weapon of somebody who hacks and slashes. So we're gonna put some little relief points in this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's all coming together now.
It's all coming together.
Let's do like a little cut.
Oh no! Jack's like, I ended it as it tied. Oh no!
Oh no!
Someone, next person in chat who puts either sun or moon. That's what we're going with.
Yeah. Let me see if I want to. There we go. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, whoever puts sun or moon in the chat, that's going to be the tiebreaker. Because, honestly, artist's choice maybe. I mean, that could work. Like, if you want to do sun or moon, and I want to do sun or moon, we could do that. Because we're already going to let them start screaming random things at us in
2
about
people
10
said
minutes.
sun.
Okay. Okay.
Wade said both. Get out of here, Wade.
Wade, go home. He's like, okay. Okay, guys. Okay. I like this. Uh-oh. Not me making a drawing that I really like. I'm kind of painting my sketch out of this. That's what I'm doing. Now where are we at? We got about 13 minutes left. I feel like I need to add my vines in here really quick. And I can do that with the power of this brush that I like.
The power of the sun.
Yes. And I'm gonna do, if we're doing, are you gonna do sun? Because what you know,
I'm gonna do sun.
Okay, I'm gonna do moon. And I'm gonna
honestly
add,
that fits.
Yeah.
You know. You know.
I'm gonna add like a little star hovering in the cut out chunk of my cleaver.
Ooh, that's super cool.
Right?
I love that.
I feel like that's neat. And I didn't see anybody else do that. I just made that up on my own. Yeah. I think that when you do look at a lot of other, like how are artists in the world interpreting certain things, you kind of develop like a little database in your brain about like what could be cool. So I hope that you folks, when you sit down to create, you don't feel like, oh, I never come up with any good ideas. I feel like that when I sit down to draw all the time. You know, it's something that doesn't always leave us, and I think that even the most renowned and revered artists of our time and before and beyond, I think you always sometimes kind of feel like what you're coming up with isn't the best idea, you know, or it's falling flat. Number one, you never know how your art is going to affect people, so for all you know, you're just having a bad day. You know, that's usually what it is for me, is I'm having a bad day and I don't believe in myself. And so I assume that none of my ideas look cool. Or you just are having a bad day. Maybe they're not. Maybe the ideas aren't coming out super good. But you just, you know, it'll come to you eventually because you are a creative person. And that's how you work. That's how your brain works. Okay, I'm going to lock transparency on that.
Wade said, so both did happen even after I was yelled at?
Yeah. That's fair.
He's got a point.
Yeah, that's yeah. I accept this. We have wronged you. Okay, there's like a little star. I think that means now that my background has to be darker. So I'm going to grab like a, dare I do like a dark green? I want to do like a, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good. We have about 10 minutes left. So I'm going to say, everybody in chat, start throwing out a bunch of ideas for random things that could be added to this. We're going to let you guys do a last minute, super, super quick poll. Because you guys are all our final boss today for the last episode of Drawing a Blank. So you guys, you know, if you think of something that you're like, oh, it definitely needs this, go ahead and throw it into the chat. And we'll have, Jack, if you want to snag like a few things and throw them into a poll, that would be awesome. I am going to also kind of light this star. Let's do something like this, and can I turn it on a lower opacity? Okay. Let me grab my handy dandy. It still works. My soft round dissolve. It's still dope. Even if it doesn't match the texture of my current piece, I can still use it to do some pretty cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that, and let's turn that also on a blending mode, and we're gonna see if we can. Ooh, okay. You know what? That looks really good, but I feel like you can't see the star in it, so I'm actually gonna find my star. I'm gonna lock transparency, and I'm gonna grab white, and I'm just gonna make the star white, maybe? I don't know. Do like a... That works. That I can see the future of it. It doesn't need to be perfect. I can see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
And let's grab something dark and desaturated, and I will add vines. We want vines on here. And you know what would be really sick is night blooming flowers.
Ooh, yeah. I love that.
To kind of give it that vibe. Dude, you
Yeah.
have got like a whole like this could go in an art book that's like the art book of a hidden world.
I'm just trying to I'm like just trying to like think of like a backstory, I guess, of just like this like where I guess I kind of did multiple artifacts here,
Well,
but
we already wrote the script, you know, like
right.
we did.
It wrote itself,
Yeah,
honestly.
it did. It really did. Schedule tomorrow is still not complete on Behance. I noticed that. I did ping the team, Robert, so they are currently working on making sure that the Behance schedule is over there. I think a couple or a handful of the programs did not get translated to Behance very well. So we are kind of taking a look at the actual schedule and making sure everything lines up currently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's my vines. I'm going to lock the transparency on that too, and I'm going to come in with some dark shades, and I am going to start to kind of pull these vines into 3D space just by adding like a little bit of shading on them. And I don't think I'm going to get super far on this as far as like detailing the vines themselves. Oops. But I can at least hint at the vibe that I want to go for.
Yeah.
It's good enough. Okay. Gold dagger wrap, animal transportation, or more magic. That's what our...
Animal transportation.
How does one add animal transportation?
Oh, i.e. camel. So like like
that doesn't help me at all.
it's a like a horse like
Yeah.
so just draw a camel. on your sword, obviously.
Okay. So it's like the sword is also a waypoint into like communicating or transporting to your spirit animal. That's how I'm going to choose to interpret this because that's the only thing that makes any kind of sense to me. Thanks, chat. But I guess if you're the final boss, you get to choose whatever you want. But we have to wait to see who, like, what is voted for because in our last, we've got maybe 6 or 7 minutes left. And that means that when we have just like 4 or 5 minutes left, the chat, we're gonna end it and we're gonna add whatever chat said to add. So, be kind to us because I don't know how to do any of these, but that's what we said we would do. So that's what we're doing.
Mythical camel motif on the gold grip, says Annika.
What does that? Okay, you know what? That actually could look pretty cool. Like some kind of animal vibe. I'm adding like some glow from
cool.
the like the moon or the star
Yeah.
that I added. Kind of getting that in there to make it look like it's supposed to be there.
Do not be sorry, Bruce. That's the better, the funnier the prompts, the better, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, we are very sarcastic gals here,
Yeah.
but I love these. Nobody is actually perturbed. And if you would have told me to put a gorilla in a hot air balloon somewhere in this, I would have done it. I would have done it
Oh
just
my
for
gosh.
you.
I'm gonna do that now.
Oh no, look what we've done.
Here we go. Here he comes. He's coming.
I'm gonna do some little like in either blue or purple. My night blooming flowers. Maybe a little more on the. Well, I feel like night blooming flowers should be like iridescent blue. So I'm gonna do just like some little random bits and bobs, and they're gonna be little flowers that grow. Thank you for that, Cody. It's actually adorable.
There he goes. Woo!
He's taken off.
Animal transportation is winning. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, of course it is. Of course it is. Okay, I'm gonna have to carve something.
We only have a few minutes left, so.
Okay, let's go ahead and end it because yeah, we've got just a handful of minutes left here. And I think that's enough time. Animal transportation is winning by a long shot. I am going to have to carve, I'm gonna say, what is a night creature that I could carve into this? Because I was thinking a bear, because cave, but if it's night, powered by the moon.
So what animals are we saying qualifies as animal transportation? Or
I could do like an owl, because maybe I'm small. You don't know how
like,
big I am.
Like, can I ride a leopard?
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking about the tail of this dagger here kind of looks like a leopard tail.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just gonna kind of like turn it into a tail.
That's good. That's a good idea. I think I'm gonna do like oh, well, no, I don't think bats lends itself really to the style on here. I'm gonna do like some carvings and stuff that look like little owl heads and eyes and stuff. Almost like there's a pattern on the side,
Yeah.
like ancient carvings.
That's
on the
cool.
blade.
Yeah.
And we can do like I'm gonna do like a talon. You know, maybe I'll do that one here. Something that, you know, really says owl. Something that screams owl. And it's not going to be super great because I think that, you know, we're limited on time. But that's kind of the gist here that I will kind of convey later on, is that like there's like owl stuff, like night predator bird.
Owl stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Owl fangs in the night. Kind of carved onto the edge of this blade and kind of gives our animal transportation. Because maybe the transportation is that the owl comes to you.
Sure.
You know?
He transports your sword to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah! Like a shard blade.
Yeah.
Like any Sanderson fans in the chat? Anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a shard blade. And that's how it gets to you. And I'm gonna do like some little stuff here. Just kind of like make the edge of this cool. Honestly, that looks sick, and it looks like a slab of ancient ruins.
It does.
Even though it's
yeah. Like it was
cave.
repurposed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have like a minute left. And honestly, I'm proud of us.
Look at what we did.
Look at what we made, guys.
Look at him.
And now, anybody who's here to see my early sketches, now you know I can draw. Now you know I can draw. Now you know Cody is a friggin' genius.
Yay!
This is so cool. And I like the little, what is that little statue thing that's just like hanging out?
Oh yeah, he's just like a little jungle idol or something. I don't know.
Yes, I love it. I like to imagine that he's either serene, but he's baring his teeth, so maybe he's vaguely annoyed. He's trying to seem serene, but he doesn't like what you're saying to him.
He's really hot because he's powered by the sun.
Yes, yeah. He's like getting overheated.
Like,
and he was like, man, I could really use an otter pop right about now. All right, we do have to go because I don't want to get cut off, but thank you all so much for joining us on our very last episode of Drawing a Blank. It was a pleasure to see you all. Cody, thank you so much as well.
Val,
you were amazing. Gonna miss it, but we will see you guys next time on maybe something else. And definitely tune in tomorrow for more Adobe Live content. Adios, folks.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.